No, we want that, Adam. Welcome to What's the Point podcast.
All right, cue us in.
The Final Box thing first.
Hey, welcome everybody. This is the Hope What's the Point podcast. We're all 8th graders here. I'm Bradley Green.
Lockle.
Ethan Stewart.
And we're going to be here talking about like what we talked about last Wednesday.
Talking about injustice and how God works in our lives when we choose to do good.
Yeah.
But coming up in a week, we have our Pineapple Bucks auction.
April 28th. Come on, bring your pineapple bucks. You can get them by doing good around here or just talking to leaders. You can bring your Bibles, remember the verses, anything. But yeah, there'll be some cool stuff there.
But I get the coolest things to have 300 Pineapple Bucks.
How do you have so much, Law?
Hard work.
A lot of verses to remember.
Yes, a lot of verses.
All right, so let's dig into what we did last week. We're talking about how God works in our lives when we're doing good. And I'll start us off with whenever we're at like school or like at practice or something, I love just like helping out people and kind of walking them through stuff. And I feel like God works with me trying to like cope with that and like walk them through it and teach them it instead of just getting mad at them so they can get better too.
Well, I feel when like God works with me when I choose to be a good sportsman when I'm playing sports. And I have a lot more fun just playing the game, and I do better.
A lot of times in my sport with wrestling, I do wrestling, but like when I'm doing my sport, a lot of times I'll have bad practice partners or they're not one to work that one day. But like I kind of get like annoyed at them, but like God kind of helps me like just like break away from them and like maybe like try to find another one or like give them some grace.
Well, when we choose to do good, God blesses us, and we might not like receive our blessings on earth. It might be in heaven. Like for Job, he was a great guy, but his entire life was just wrecked.
Who is Joe?
Yeah, we're in Daniel.
I don't know who Joe is.
All right, where is
Job. It's on
Joe
the
Mama.
left page. I was talking about Job, because we're talking about you can do good things and God will bless you for doing good things. You might not receive your blessings on earth though. Like Job, he was a really pious guy, but God allowed Satan to take like everything away from him. He lost like his family, his farm, and he was sick.
Yeah. And also like on Wednesday, we talked about Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego and about how they stood up for their faith and that they believed in God. And when they were thrown in the fire, Jesus was there with them. And there was a fourth man to kind of walk them through it and show that their good stands for something and that they can show that to other people.
I'm just going to take a second and read the verse that they were talking about. Suddenly the king jumped up and shouted, "Weren't only 3 men tied up and thrown into the fire?" "Yes, your majesty," the people answered. "But I see 4 men walking around the fire." The king replied, "None of them are tied up or harmed, and the 4th one looks like God." Nebuchadnezzar went closer to the flame furnace and said to the 3 young men, "You servants of the Most High God, come out at once." They came out, and the high king's officials, governors, and advisors all crowded around them. The men were not burned, their hair wasn't scorched, and their clothes didn't smell like smoke.
Yeah, I mean, that really just shows how God's with us, even when we're going through those hard times, and that there can be some good that comes out of it. Maybe we can show some other people like the greatness of God and just have like a foundation to go to when we need that help.
Because they showed they weren't afraid of the king and that they wouldn't bow down to him. So they were thrown in a furnace for their belief, but God was there with them because they chose to do the right thing.
So I was one time in one of my like when I was at a sumo, or it was either a sumo or a Wednesday night service, but basically the person talking, he said like whatever you're going through, somebody's been through it before, and God doesn't put you through something that He knows you can't go through, and so, like, you shouldn't be afraid, and you can always turn to God.
Yeah, and a long time ago, back in like 7th grade, I think, long time ago, Adam talked on about how we shouldn't let the moment push God out, and that's just always stuck with me because it shows that even though we're like going to go through something or like we have a big test coming up, a big game that we might be stressing about, we shouldn't let the moment push God out because He's going to be there with us. And so I just love thinking back on that and remembering He's going to be there.
No, it's really comforting to know that God is always there with you no matter what you're going through, and that someone has gone through before you.
All right. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in today, and we hope to see you next Tuesday or at a Wednesday, Sunday night coming up.
Peace!
Is that too close to the mic?